This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Early election results are showing a shakeup on the Newberg school board.
Just get us out of the news and go back to being a normal, healthy school district that isn't making national headlines for this or that controversy.
But somebody had to, throw the brick through the window and kind of get this conversation going.
We spoke with the board chair, who's on his way out, and the candidate who appears to have defeated him. Plus,
we've got an eruption down here. Now we got a big slide coming off.
43 years ago today, the eruption of Mount St. Helens triggered the largest landslide ever recorded. It rushed through the wilderness at 130 miles an hour. And this morning, we want to know what you remember about that day. Also coming up,
for every child that is enrolled in our Springville camp, we sponsor a child in need for free.
It might sound too good to be true, but at this summer camp, the fee for some kids really is free. It's all thanks to a program called Go to Camp, Give a Camp. We'll have more on exactly how it works coming up later this half hour.
Yeah, and it's about that time that we're talking about summer camp. The weather has been hot too, but now are we talking about a cool down?
Is this the day?
Is it?
That we could not hit 90 and that we would not do it the rest of this week and that we would not do it the rest of next week?
Whoa.
yes.
Because we did hit it yesterday, you're telling me.
Yeah, 91 out of PDX and 90 in Salem yesterday. Record 5 days now in the month
Wow,
of May,
that's right.
which will be considered a healthy number for August. 5 days. This is May, obviously. All right, we're waking up to this. We do have clear skies up top, 63. Futurecast modeling suggests we'll see some low cloudiness in the valley, maybe not solid, but some in the coming hours. I have us staying in the 80s today, 74 at noon, 86 at 5 p.m. And some of the modeling even goes cooler than that, so we'll see. Sunrise today at 5:36. That's your forecast.
All right, thank you for that, Rod. We'll have more from Rod coming up here in a few minutes. But right now, we start our news coverage this half hour with an update on this week's special election in Oregon, specifically some of the latest results from Multnomah County.
Okay, here's where things stand right now. 81% of voters said no to a capital gains tax. It would have helped renters facing eviction pay for a lawyer, although no county in the country funds legal help that way.
Former Nike executive and current Portland Public School Board member Julia Brim Edwards, meanwhile, still has a firm lead in the Multnomah County Commissioner's race. That means she should be able to avoid a runoff.
And in the race for Portland School Board Zone 3, retired elementary school teacher Patty Sullivan still holds the lead with 57% support.
And this morning, we are taking a closer look at the race for the Newberg School Board because it looks like most of the board is about to be replaced. As our Alma McCarty reports, this comes after a string of controversies that started with an effort to ban gay pride and Black Lives Matter flags in schools.
From a ban on political displays to the firing of a superintendent, a recall election, and the resignation of progressive board members. The Newberg School District has certainly dealt with quite a bit. That's part of the reason why James Wolfer said he ran for the school board.
I'd love if after all this, we're just, after these few wins that, no offense, but we're not doing news articles anymore and just get us out of the news and go back to being a normal, healthy school district that isn't making national headlines for this or that controversy.
Looks like many in the community agree. Initial results show Wolfer and the 4 other candidates backed by the Oregon Cares PAC won their bid. The group's largest donor, the statewide teachers union. Scott Winter, a spokesperson, says Oregon Cares formed late last year.
I don't know that I personally expected a sweep. That was certainly something we were hoping for. I think we figured we'd get a couple seats and we'd incrementally, help to affect some change on the Newberg School Board.
Well, we'll see how they do on the school board after they've been there a while. School boards are really overrated as far as what you can get done.
I also spoke with outgoing board chair Dave Brown, who is losing his seat to Wolfer, and asked whether he'd have done anything differently.
I was asked that question at lunch a while back, and I said everything and nothing. I feel like Newberg had to happen. I don't know why. I feel like the Lord's got a plan, but somebody had to throw the brick through the window and kind of get this conversation going. It's a complicated time to be a school board member. I wish these new people well. I'm not going to go down to that school board meeting and do what some of them did to me, because I don't think that's the right way to do it.
Wolfer said he's ready to listen to all families whose children attend this district.
The five of us, they've tried to paint us as the progressives or whatever, and it's really not. I'm an independent, we had a Republican, we had 3 Democrats, and all of us had just said, we probably don't agree on some things politically, but that shouldn't matter. The 5 of us could work together to return it to normalcy and return it to being about, a healthy school district that's, safe physically and emotionally for kids.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
For updated results from the special election, just hold up your smartphone camera and scan that QR code. That'll take you to KGW's election coverage on KGW.com.
And new this morning, a fire destroyed several buildings under construction in northeast Portland. You can see the flames on your screen. The call came in just after 2 o'clock this morning to northeast 36th and Killingsworth. Portland Fire says several of the buildings collapsed. Crews were able to stop the fire from spreading to a nearby home. No word on if anyone was hurt, but we'll keep you updated as we learn more.
This morning, we're also following the latest on the fire that destroyed the Southwest Portland apartment building earlier this week. Fire crews say what's left of the 113-year-old building could collapse at any moment. Back on Tuesday, a 4-alarm fire ripped through that century-old building on Southwest 14th and Taylor. Nobody was seriously hurt, but dozens of people lost their homes. Fire crews tell us that the building was essentially held together by the floors of the building, and as anticipated, part of the building collapsed yesterday.
Some homeless people over there in that encampment, when the bricks came down, I rushed over to make sure everyone was going to be okay because, it's a safety hazard, right?
So investigators say they're going to get some help later this week from Scappoose Fire because so far the Portland crews have not stepped inside the structure. Scappoose Fire will bring in their specialized drone to help figure out what started the fire. They're going to use 3D imagery. It's actually a similar process to what was used earlier this year on the Portland Korean church fire that happened back in January.
Other headlines we're tracking for you this morning. Rescue crews will be back out on the Columbia River today searching for the body of a missing swimmer. The Hood River County Sheriff's Office says the 19-year-old jumped off a footbridge near the Bridge of the Gods yesterday and got swept away. The Coast Guard and local crews searched for hours, but they couldn't find him. The teen is presumed drowned. The search is now being treated as a recovery mission. We have a little more info on the bridge lifts happening this week because the Willamette River is running high. The good news is none of those lifts will happen during rush hour Monday through Friday. That's 7 to 9 weekday mornings and 9 to 6 in the afternoons. Weekends, though, that's a different story, especially with increased river traffic.
Theoretically, we'll be in high water at least till Tuesday, but the river level changes so drastically that we may have another few days added on. So for now, we know Tuesday. Beyond that, we'll just have to wait and see.
Expect traffic delays of up to 10 minutes when crossing the river. And starting a week from tomorrow, visitors who want to park at Multnomah Falls will need a permit. They're issued per vehicle, not per person. You'll need one to park in the I-84 lot between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. This starts on May 26th and runs through Labor Day. Permits cost $2 and are available at recreation.gov. And those are some of your Thursday morning headlines.
Hundreds of miles off the coast, some buoys will be soon getting an upgrade to help track weather patterns. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, currently has more than 50 buoys in the Pacific Ocean. They're part of an observation system that tracks air and sea surface temperatures. The last 3 years, we've been in a La Nina weather pattern, they say, which brings cooler and wet weather to our area, while El Nino is drier and warmer. Officials say models are already showing there's a chance we could see a stronger than normal El Nino moving in.
That chance is increasing up to almost 90% that it's going to be a moderate to severe El Nino by the end of the year. That's the predictions that are put out by the Climate Prediction Center.
NOAA will be deploying 5 upgraded prototype buoys by the end of this year, with a total of 50 expected by 2027.
Yay! So this is great news. So, when I moved here in 1999, we had very little information coming in off the Pacific. Now a combination of another push to increase the number of buoys out there, basically weather stations in the ocean, and satellite imagery packages continue to be developed to give us more information. So if we had this much information in 1999 off the Pacific, we now have like this much.
Terrific.
And it's leading to better weather modeling and hopefully a better heads up of when we could have storms come in that produce flooding and high winds and that type of thing.
So you'll be right more often than not, is that right?
That's the plan, Brenda Braxton. That is the plan.
Is that always the case? My goodness.
I sense skepticism. All right, we did it yesterday. Go to the right part of the screen. Wednesday, 91 degrees. Last Friday, 90. Over the weekend, 90s. So the number of 90-degree days you're looking at them, going back to last Friday, 5 for the month of May. That is the new record, more than we've ever had at any reporting site in Portland for the month of May, going all the way back to 1874. Again, 5 would be considered pretty healthy for August. Said that earlier in the show. All right, we're quiet out there right now. Thunderstorms did pop over the Cascades yesterday. All of that is fizzled overnight. Happened pretty quickly once the sun went down. Mainly clear skies up top. There are some low clouds starting to fill in some of the gaps around the valley. We're at 63 in Portland. Other numbers are mid-50s, 55 in Salem and Eugene, 52 over in Newport, 55 in Bend, just into the 40s in Burns this morning at 49. Futurecast does like a solid marine overcast sticking around throughout the day for you folks at the coast. Maybe some fog or misty spots this morning. It likes a little bit of cloudiness coming in the coming hours. Here we are at 9:30. But this basically will go on to be a mostly sunny day up and down the valley. There are the clouds later today sticking around at the beach. There are some thunderstorms again firing up along the Cascades later today. So with the clouds of the coast, it's going to be a cool one. Highs 50s to maybe low 60s for you folks there. In the valley, no 90s today expected. In fact, this shows only 83 in Salem, only 78 in Corvallis. I have Portland getting up to 86. The cool down begins 86, 85, 82, 73. I'm trying to go lower with my voice. 68. I have taken the rain chance out of Sunday, but I still think we could have just a little bit of rain on Monday and Tuesday of next week. Back to you.